go.
Boy, get back. What's all going to do about it? Popeye snatch that chain. Get back. We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. I'm Ryan Tyler. He's Nick Padone. Alongside me, Jack O'Rourke and Rob Watson. Today is a beautiful, you know what, Rob, I'll let you say it's a beautiful Tuesday, August 26, 2025, because the trip to KennyWood for the Cleveland Browns is officially over. It was a long couple of months. I was a fan of the rides. I had a fast pass, and I got in, and I got some good food and some good rides. 2 gloves over there for Jack, but it is officially over. They trade him to the Raiders for a 5th-round pick. Cue the Andrew Berry laser eyes. Rob, I'll let you have the floor.
The shackles are broken. I'm free. I'm free. The quarterback, it's getting a little tastier. I'm getting a little bit of an appetite in my stomach. Am I hungry?
Are you hungry?
Am I ready to eat? They got rid of him. Bro. It's time. I've been calling for it for weeks.
Kenny Pickett was the cheese on the burger, and you're hungry now that it's gone.
No. He was like some poorly placed, like, rotten pickles on my burger that, like, I just kept overpowering everything that was good about what was going on in that locker room. And the fact that he's gone, like, I audibly was laying in my bed last night, and I got out and I started screaming. I said, Dad, they did it. They finally did it. They got rid of the big ticket Kenny Pickett.
Hitler's dead.
That rhymed.
It was, oh my God. Obviously super excited, you know, the 4 quarterback thing dead for now until 4 comes back. 4 will make 4. But for now, we got 2 rookies. We got a vet. We're doing things a little bit better. Can't be mad at it. Laser eyes, not really a laser eyes move, but good enough.
What are you going to do when that notification comes across your screen later today or early tomorrow that Dorian Thompson-Robinson has been added to the Cleveland Browns practice squad?
Come on down, Honda McCord, Kyle McCord, after getting released.
Jersey, if that's the case, that'll be it for me before the season even starts.
Well, guys, after trading Kenny Pickett to the Vegas Raiders, the Browns now have 10 picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. Of course, they have Jacksonville's first, so 2 first-rounders, guys. I believe 2 6th, 1 7th, 2 5ths, a 4, a 3, a 2, and obviously the 2 1s. They mentioned the one from Jacksonville. This paves the way for Dillon Gabriel to be the clear backup. No more debating whether or not, if Joe Flacco gets pulled, they're going to put in Kenny Pickett. It's now clear once that happens, which it probably inevitably will. It'll be Dillon Gabriel who gets the first shot for our Cleveland Browns.
And this is smart. Like what the Browns did yesterday, we could have our jokes about Kenny Pickett and the small hands and being a vet. And I do think the people that wanted to make that argument are justified, that for most normal NFL teams and most normal, stable organizations, it makes sense to have an experienced veteran backup. You heard Pete Carroll, right when Aiden O'Connell went down, said to the media in plain English, I would like to have a guy that's played in the league before. And then he went out there and got Kenny Pickett. But we know what this Browns thing is about this season. We've known it since the NFL draft. It's about evaluating and it's about seeing what you've got in these young kids. The Browns had their owner, Jimmy Haslam, come out this offseason and said that the coaching staff knows how important it is to get a look at both of these kids. And I think for Dillon Gabriel, it speaks volumes to the fact that the Browns really like him. That's all we heard all preseason long. but then you're one more player away from seeing Shedeur Sanders as well. So as bad as Saturday felt for Shedeur Sanders with those sacks that looked like he was playing Madden drunk at 1 a.m, it really goes to show that maybe the Browns do really like both of these kids and they are going to get a real shot on the football field this year.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a testament to Dylan Gabriel, especially, I think, in a way that if you are willing to part ways with Kenny Pickett, not that he was going to make a world's difference in your season, but the fact that you're willing to get rid of him means you're okay with Dylan Gabriel going out there against the Ravens week 2 if Joe Flacco goes down. Like, they have a confidence in him that, honestly, I didn't think they had this early on.
Ryan, we've kind of talked about this at length for a while, and I think what our main takeaway from it is more so correct. I don't really think this says too much about the rookies. I think it just says a lot about how much they did like Kenny Pickett, and the fact that he got hurt and couldn't be the starter meant he was no longer of use to us at all. Because as a backup, he serves us no real purpose here, because he would just be getting in the way of finding out what we need to find out before next year. So as soon as he got hurt and he couldn't be the starter, there was no point. I think it would have been the same thing for Joe Flacco. Had Kenny Pickett won the job, he would have been on his way out of there to the Raiders. So at least Andrew Berry, seeing that, decided that we're already this is a rebuilding year still. Maybe not much is going to come out of it. We need to really find out what we could find out and get rid of Pickett.
So the question to me now becomes, though, are you guys cool with, I mean, this is a 40-year-old quarterback that we're talking about. Now, I was encouraged personally by what I saw in Joe Flacco in that preseason finale, but if something were to happen, even if it's early in the season, potentially week 2 against Baltimore and that ferocious defense that's, injured a couple Browns QBs in our lifetimes, are you comfortable with Dylan Gabriel being that next guy up, even if it is week 3, week 4?
That's what they're telling you.
This schedule is a gauntlet, and they're getting these guys. Like, these guys are going to go.
I think, Ryan, one thing you talked about all the time was wanting to get a big enough sample size to see both these kids where you could possibly,
I want the whole load.
Yeah, where you want someone to force their hand one way or another, and I think now you're opening up to that possibility. If Joe Flacco's only out there 4 or 5 weeks, I don't see Joe Flacco making it to the bye week still. You're going to get an actual look at one of these kids to maybe get a chance to say, hey, we don't need to go get Nussmeier or Al or whoever.
It's not optimal, Ryan. I feel
it's got to be, right?
No, what did I think it was Sir Charles Barkley said, them young boys coming.
Yeah, if Dylan goes out there and we get to see him play for 9 weeks and he sucks, we got the whole look at it. Now let's go to Shedeur. We got 6-7 games.
The one thing that I didn't want this season to be was to have a mediocre season, which is probably on the table, of course, if anything below average, is to go into the offseason and not be able to firmly say whether or not I think Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders could be a franchise quarterback.
You will get to see everyone.
And I think we'll certainly get the answer on Dylan Gabriel. Now, whether or not he plays like garbage and they throw in Shedeur Sanders, and then maybe I have enough sample size to see if Shedeur Sanders can be a franchise quarterback. But at the end of the day, it's okay, let's fast forward to 2026, your quarterback room. It's probably Joe Flacco's gone. He's hopefully retired into the sunset. Go play with your kids. And you have Dylan Gabriel, you have Shedeur Sanders, and then the 2026 first-round pick. Hopefully the first-round pick, honestly, because then you can get Arch Manning or Garrett or whoever, the pick of the litter. And then if Dylan Gabriel's your starter week 1 next year, or whether it's Shedeur, or whether you have a true battle between those 3 and a first-round pick, that gives me confidence for the quarterback room going forward at least. And like I said, I just need an answer, because if Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel, and that's the whole thing we've talked about, is there even a scenario where Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders could make the statement enough for the Browns to stop them from drafting a quarterback? And I just don't think that's the case.
I think it all depends on how long Flacco goes. Because if Flacco goes 7 weeks, 8 weeks, if he plays the first 6, which is the first 6 games before the bye week is 7. Then you really have only 10 games, 11 games to evaluate both rookie quarterbacks, and that's not going to be enough. So you would be looking at a really early season switch to Dylan Gabriel is going to be the first guy up in order to get a big enough sample size on him. And then if he lays an egg, then it's Shedeur Sanders. That's the thing. 4 was way too many quarterbacks. That's why the fact that they did this was arguably one of the smartest things they've done this entire offseason, because at least gives you a path closer getting a look at both of these guys. But I still don't know that it gives them a big enough sample size to stop them from drafting somebody.
Right. Now that I'm thinking about it, I actually agree. My whole point was moot, because when you're talking about Dylan Gabriel, let's say he starts 8 games, whatever it is, and let's say
that's more than enough.
Yeah, and let's say you even go 5-3. You go 6-2, which I know is a long shot, but is that going to be enough sample size for Jimmy Haslam and the Browns front office, the brass, to be like, we trust a third-round quarterback off of 6 games. We're really not going to go take a first-round quarterback in a quarterback class that is viewed as one of the best we've had in a while. I don't think there's a scenario that Dillon Gabriel could ever come out and play well enough to the point that would stop them from drafting a quarterback.
It's very open-ended too. Like, what does 5 wins look like? That doesn't mean he was the sole reason we won those games. He could have just been along for the ride. Obviously,
sick defense.
It's gonna depend on how he looks. But I would even say I would just want to make sure I know for sure on one. Instead of splitting time and not knowing about either, I would fully commit to knowing about one.
I don't want to say this because it's unfair to Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, but I honestly think this is the truth. It's almost like this entire year, once Joe Flacco sits, is Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are fighting for who's going to be the long-term backup to whoever they draft in 2026.
That's probably the way to look at it. I mean, I think, dude, honestly, like, I think that's probably why Dillon Gabriel was the pick at 94 in the first place. I think Shedeur falling to them was a happy accident. And again, I think they really like Shedeur Sanders. Like, you don't trade Kenny Pickett and make Shedeur the third string quarterback if you're a little skeptical, because Joe Flacco's 40, Dillon Gabriel's 5'11". Like, let's not act like that's one big sack away from just cracking Dillon Gabriel in half like an egg. And then we're at Shedeur Sanders potentially by the bye week. You know, like, we see crazy stuff like this.
Quarterbacks in the first 8 weeks of the year 100 times.
Yeah, that we've seen stuff like this happen before. It really wouldn't stun me if they brought Tyler Huntley back to the practice squad. Dorian Thompson-Robinson was really, I know I said that facetiously.
Hell no.
Tommy DeVito's out there if he doesn't get claimed. Like, I do think they'll put a quarterback on the practice squad.
I do hate to ask you guys this question, but I do think it has to come up at some point now with Kenny Pickett being gone and Deshaun Watson playing football or being able to play football at some point this year. Do you think it'll be a scenario? Because, I mean, they're going to have to take him back at some point, and that money's going to be around. Will it be like as soon as Flacco's done, whatever that may be, do you think that's when they activate him and he just sits third behind the 2 rookies?
Potentially. I could see that. I could see, like, there's so many ways that they can manipulate this. Like, say Joe Flacco, like, tweaks his ankle, right, in like week 6, and he really probably could push through if the playoffs were on the horizon. But I mean, Joe's a vet. He's gonna make his money regardless. Who's to say at that point, when Watson's medically cleared, you don't just IR Flacco? And then there's your Dillon Gabriel's your starter, Shedeur's your backup, and Deshaun Watson's your game day inactive. Like, that could be a way of how they balance this, because the boogeyman is still around the corner. Like, again, I am telling people, and like, I know people are going to be shocked.
You still hungry, Rob?
Dude, I know people are going to be shocked when the news comes, but they only have 2 options when he's medically cleared to play: to activate him or to cut him. And you know they're not going to cut him, so they're going to activate him. And the question is, do you activate him and then IR him? That's a possibility. Like, that way he's still getting his money. He's still allowed to be around, but you have absolutely 0% chance of playing. Or do you activate him and then there is some chance, even if it's a distant chance, to make him that third quarterback that's inactive and standing there in street clothes. But if your 2 active QBs go down, back goes 4, out he comes in his jersey and he's on the field. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of variables, and this is going to be something that comes sooner than later, because you see these videos on social media. Like, he is telling you he's getting closer to being ready to go.
I also do think in some way he serves a purpose, not as a quarterback trying to win you a football game at any point in time, but like, there are scenarios where if things are looking really bad, like if shit ain't sweet at M&T Bank Stadium week 2, or I mean, later in the year we'll go, like going to Pittsburgh or something. Like, if one of the rookies is playing, he throws 2 or 3 picks, or he gets hurt, and you're not ready to play Shedeur yet, like, it's not bad to have a meat locker you can just throw in there to simulate the rest of a football game, you know, when, like, you don't want to hurt your rookie's confidence anymore or put another rookie in a bad position. Like, I think there's a spot for him on the roster in that scenario as the third guy.
Yeah,
not like to do anything good, I'm saying.
I really thought, too, and people killed me for this, I am the furthest thing from a Deshaun Watson fan. I was against the move when it happened. I said at the time there were 20 plus reasons to not make that trade, and surely enough, did all of those fizzle to the surface. However, I think he can offer to Gabriel and Sanders both what not to do at the National Football League. Like, I don't really think that he's some sort of character that's gonna like intentionally sabotage them. You know, I think he understand, like, he'd be a complete dummy and a complete moron if he didn't understand his own situation here, and that his time probably is expired, and that the best thing that you could do is probably to lend a hand to these two dudes. It's kind of like a help me help you type thing. Like, look, organization, I'm helping your two young pups along. Get me free, get me out of here, so I could find somewhere where I can potentially go contribute, because it ain't gonna be here. And I really do think that there is some sort of benefit, even if it's distant, to show Gabriel and Sanders what not to do once you become a big time thing in the National Football League. Because people forget, man, like, that wasn't that long ago that Deshaun Watson was blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like, he was a top 5 perennial MVP candidate every time a season started. And I really think he can offer up to these kids what not to do, as crazy as that sounds.
You know, last year the buzzword for the Cleveland Browns was zip.
Yeah.
Zip. I think this year it's got to be sabotage.
Zip.
Yeah,
maybe this year it should be Zap, because that's what he zapped out of.
Bailey Zappi coming back?
He got cut yesterday.
Oh, did he?
We gotta take a break. When we get back, we're still talking about the Cleveland Browns. Deontay Johnson cut. DeAndre Carter was apparently cut, and then this morning I see he's not cut. I need to know if he's playing for my team or not. We'll be back right here on The Big Factor.
Rob's finally seen the light.
Good. Look here.
You gotta fix that fairway logo.
Schultz cap though.
Hey everybody, welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Ryan Tyler, Nick Padone, Jack O'Rourke, and Rob Watson. Before we dive back into the Cleveland Browns, guys, I got to tell you all about our great friends over at Fairway Ford, Ohio. Fairway Ford is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the entire state. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and I promise you they won't be beat on price by any other Ford dealer. Don't let a short drive to Canfield prevent you from saving thousands of dollars while you peruse over 500 vehicles in stock in their lot. You see right above me, the Fairway Ford summer sale still going on, so make that short drive to Canfield. It'll be well worth it. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, the lowest pricing and same hometown level of service. Scan that QR code now or go give their website a visit, fairwayfordohio.com. Again, that's fairwayfordohio.com. Guys, it has been quite the NFL journey for one Deontay Johnson. He was just cut by the Cleveland Browns, not going to make that final 53-man roster. This is courtesy of Andrew Siciliano on Twitter. This is just a brief synopsis of Deontay Johnson's last couple years in the National Football League. Go back to last year, 2024 March, traded from the Steelers to the Panthers. Then the Panthers went ahead and traded him to the Ravens. Ravens suspend Deontay Johnson for a game. Then they activate him from the suspension just to waive him. Then the Texans claim him. Then the Texans waive him. Then come Deontay Johnson into Cleveland, and now he's cut. Been a long year for Deontay Johnson. Rob, you were a fan until you saw him actually run routes on the football field.
Yeah, man. As someone said earlier, shit wasn't sweet, bro. It wasn't like running routes on IG with Route God, bro. They got him out of here, and he was still dropping balls. So shout out to Gage Larvin, bro. You got him up out of there. Isaiah Bond, you snatched his chain as well. He'll find another team, and he'll probably do the same thing again.
Yeah, I'm not right very often, so I will take a small victory lap the one time I'm right about something with football. I believe when we signed Deontay Johnson, came on the show and said exactly what would happen. So
take those fucking gloves off.
Yeah, we're off the Kenny segment, bro. Baby. We're off the Kenny segment.
All right, guys. DeAndre Carter said last night he was cut. The American Cabinet this morning says DeAndre Carter was not released by the Cleveland Browns. So I'm assuming that is the truth. He's still on the team. No, that leaves a spot for Deontay Johnson since getting cut. Gage Laverdin, potentially making the Browns roster or Caden Davis?
I don't know. We just traded for another lineman, though. So assuming he's going to make the squad.
Yeah, shout out the Browns trading a 7th-round pick in the future, 3 years in the future.
2028. That was the first
like an NBA trade.
2028 NFL draft pick that gets traded. So again, the laser eyes are flickering in
I hate
Maria.
to be that guy, but I looked up like the top performers for the Rams PFF grades, and that kid was like number 2. So apparently he was doing good in the preseason, but obviously.
Hey,
they must have saw something they liked in that last game.
Dude, in offensive line depth, there's nothing that you'll catch me complaining about. So I'm cool with that trade. As far
Especially
as this
Cornelius Lucas is out for a little bit too, right?
And as far as this receiver room goes, I'm curious to see how this thing takes shape. Just because catching the ball has been not the bright spot of this regime. And you've had a couple, like Caden Davis has looked good at times in camp. Obviously, Gage has probably been the darling of this camp, especially after Floria went down. I don't know how many you keep. If you keep 6, including Carter, then I got to imagine Gage is on the team.
Let's be honest though. Who are the 3 receiving threats? Because Caden Davis, Gabe Lavard, and it's whatever.
It's
they'll
whatever.
get
I mean, you're going
snaps. Who are
Judy
the 3?
and Njoku Tillman.
I'm talking receivers only.
Oh, then
Judy,
take
Tillman, and
Bond for
Thrash.
Njoku.
Judy Tillman and Thrash. You got Isaiah Bond would be the 4th. Carter would be the 5th. And then 6th and /7th would be either Gage or Caden Davis. Or, and I know nobody wants to hear this, they love David Bell. We haven't seen him yet, but he's been hurt, So like I personally would cut David Bell. David Bell has shown me absolutely nothing.
Rob,
Jaguars game 2 years ago.
Rob, you said at the beginning of this episode you were finally hungry again.
No, I'm back out, bro.
Now it sounds like you're not hungry.
Because why the fuck? David Bell? Are we? Oh my goodness.
They really like him.
My top 3. I don't know if I'm putting Tillman in the top 3. I know he's gonna play, but I'm just so like I don't like him sitting out of games when the whole starting unit is playing. Like you're like the guy. I don't like that he's hurt a lot. I don't like the playbook stuff that I've heard about in the past. I would want to see it mainly be a mixture of Judy, Thrash, and Bond personally, but I know that's probably not what they're gonna do because that was a high pick. And we know how Barry feels about his 3rd-round receivers, so he's going to get more chances. But I'm slowly inching out on Cedric Tillman.
Here's the thing with Ced, right? Like, you drafted him a few years ago. Rookie year, didn't really do anything. Then he comes in with Jameis Winston until he gets his brain rattled around in his head. Plays pretty well, right? This will be the year with Joe Flacco at the helm for however many games. I think you're going to be able to realize if he's something or not.
I've seen him play poorly with Joe already, though, so I don't feel like it's something I'm excited to see. Solid deep threat, but Joe on the timing routes, it was never working with Ced before, and you can see him. He's not a very emotional guy, but he yelled at him a couple times.
Yeah, he did.
So not very excited to see that, honestly. I'd much rather see them just get as much as they can out of Bond on cheap money and see if that's a guy you could have as a staple for very cheap in your rotation.
All right, let's talk about this really quick before we move on. Robert Griffin III, he's become quite the icon in the sports media landscape.
That's a word for it.
He's talking about the Cleveland Browns. Quote, I think the Cleveland Browns need to trade Shedeur, Dylan Gabriel. Right now they have a toxic environment around their quarterback situation, and it's not a growth environment for either guy. So right now you need to allow Shedeur to be that guy, or you're tabbing your quarterback of the future, or you need to allow Dylan Gabriel to be the quarterback that you're tabbing as your quarterback of the future.
This episode is rage bait now.
Yeah.
Rage bait.
Am I wrong to say?
am
I wrong to say though? Like I do kind of agree with them a smidge. Like,
but
drafting 2 of them never made sense. But now that you've drafted 2 of them, you're not trading Shedeur Sanders.
I think he's just projecting still about the fact that he doesn't like that Washington took Kirk Cousins in the same draft as him, and eventually, after injuries, Kirk Cousins took his job, and he's still mad. He doesn't want Shedeur to have the same path he did.
What about what
I think
he's
it's about
saying
football.
really makes sense though? I don't get it. It's a 3rd and a 5th. Yeah. Realistically, neither of them are your future. Realistically, bro. Like, let's be so honest. It's gonna be a guy next year. I can't keep with the stuff where they're gonna both get a chance, and all you could do with your chance is to just prove that you're the guy. I don't care if it's for a quarter, a game. You get 4, 5, 6. You got to prove it. And if neither of them prove it, we're going to take a quarterback next year, and that's what it is. Improving on where you were picked, obviously a lot of people didn't believe in you. You got a chance. So regardless if it's 2 of you or not, it's a chance. Make the most of it or get lost.
That's it's the fact that it's 2 of them, and it is the fact that Jack, you're probably right. He probably is projecting that he realized in Washington. That didn't work out, like one of them had to go and it was him. And then Kirk Cousins left too. So really none of it worked out for Washington. So I think the point is sound that having 2 does not make sense. Of course, though, people were quick to jump on RG3 because of all of this Shedeur mania that's been the last 72 hours ever since Saturday.
It was 2 there. That's not like, this isn't even close to a similar situation though. Like he was clearly the guy. And honestly, it's clearly Dillon Gabriel who's going to be the guy here who at least gets to go first. If he goes and plays well, Shedeur's not going to get a chance. It's going to be that simple.
The idea of sabotage is just, it's stupid. And we've talked about this, and we're all still fans of Shedeur Sanders. We think he has raw talent. Is he NFL ready? Well, it doesn't appear so. But the Shedeur stands, I don't know if that's the name that they've been coined yet, are just kind of lunatics. For lack of better terms.
There's a lot of lack of accountability for some of his pitfalls that he shows. I won't even say his play because he had a very good game.
And we've become so enamored with quarterbacks immediately starting. Some of the most prolific NFL Hall of Fame quarterbacks we've seen, they don't come in and start right away. And obviously I'm not comparing these guys to your Tom Brady's, your Aaron Rodgers. It's okay. They're so young. You're allowed to develop, and you don't have to be a superstar until your 3rd, 4th year. And is that often the case? No.
Mahomes said, and Josh didn't play.
But
I don't want to see Shedeur play until very late in the season. Yeah. Regardless of what we're saying of we need to see X amount of games, when he gets out there, I want to see that he's learned. I want him to sit on what happened and let it soak in, fix every little mistake meticulously. Every week in practice squad, you get to go up against the ones. He'll be the scout guy. I want to see him get better week after week after week. I don't care if it's week 15 when he goes out there. I want to see an improved quarterback that's comfortable in the pocket, is throwing with timing, with good footwork, good precision, and has fixed all his mistakes. And he's not trying to force the big play. Every time he drops back, he's taking his layups. He's playing quarterback the right way and prove that he improved. I don't want to see them put him out there when he's not ready against a great defense and do the same things he was doing, dropping back too far and getting his back broken because he's just taking hit after hit after hit because he doesn't know what to do yet.
Rob, I know exactly what's going to happen now. So they're going to do the right thing and baby him along, wait for the end of the season when he's actually ready to play football. It's going to be a home game late in the year. I don't know our exact schedule, but it's going to be like the weather when Deshaun made that start against the Saints. It's just going to be like a straight blizzard. We're going to throw the ball 30 times. He's not going to do great. And then they're going to come out and they're going to call sabotage again. Because he didn't go out there until it was a blizzard, even though they were trying to do the right thing all along and wait for him.
He'll get another game the next week if that's the case.
I know, but that's how the cycle goes with him.
All right, today is Tuesday, August 26th. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we have a very special segment. It's Futures Day on FanDuel. We're going to tell you all about it. We're going to give you some of our future picks right here when we get back on The Big Factor.
Deontay Johnson.
Hey everybody, welcome back to The Big Factor on the Big Play Sports Network presented by FanDuel. Ryan Tyler, Nick Padone, Jack O'Rourke, Rob Watson. Today is August 26th. Nick, why don't you tell everybody why this is an important day for FanDuel?
Well, on Tuesday, August 26th, today we've made it to a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all of your football season predictions. Before the show started, all of the fellas here have been locked on the FanDuel app. Take a flyer on your MVP race. Crown your champion in August. Our parlay, your division winner dark horses. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now. Start placing those future bets now, because FanDuel Futures Day is today and only today. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. But fellas, it is officially here. It's FanDuel Futures Day, and we finally get to get the people ready for all of our futures bets and for week 1 of the NFL season starting up next week.
All right, CFB on here too.
I'm looking here, guys. Super Bowl winners. FanDuel right now has a 50% profit boost you can claim and add to your bet slip for when you pick the Super Bowl. Gosh, we're already on Super Bowl 55 winners. Guys, I'm trying to make a little bit of bread here. So what I did is I used my 50% profit boost. I don't want to bet the Ravens. I don't want to bet the Bills, the plus 700s. It's good money you're making. It's tough to predict the Super Bowl, but I'm in it to make some real bread. And this is a long shot. Of course it is. That's why I'm talking about it. That's why it's with my boost plus $37.50, $10 to win $385. That's with the 50% profit boost. I have the Super Bowl winner. This isn't my Super Bowl winner prediction, but with my dark horse. Remember, I don't want to get roasted, but the Denver Broncos. Now, when I told you guys this, yes, I see the laughs, I see the shrugs, I see the whoos. But at the end of the day, Super Bowl teams, they win because they have top 5 offensive lines. They win because they have top 5 defenses, and they have a coach who's been there, done that. They check all of those boxes. The Broncos are one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. They are in a gauntlet that is the AFC West. But at the end of the day, comes down to Bo Nix. Now, I know a lot of people aren't necessarily Bo Nix believers, but from what I saw to Bo Nix to Sean Payton in his first year, I expect growth. They added Talo Hufanga, I hope I pronounced that right, to give them safety depth. They restocked their defensive line. Nick Bonito is an edge superstar in the making. Reminds me a little bit of Micah Parsons. I could see, and by the way, you have Pat Surtain, the best cornerback in the league. I see a recipe where the Broncos could go ahead and make some noise. Now, when they get down to the playoffs and you're playing the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, can they get over that hump? I don't know. But this is my long shot prediction for the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't say I would co-sign it, but you made a valid argument, man. I mean, it'll all come down to if there's a sophomore slump. If he regresses, pack it all up. And they'll look like the Texans last year. They'll probably make it, and they'll get first round.
The sophomore slump is such an interesting discussion, and it's in the forefront because of C.J. Stroud. But you got to realize how bad the Texans' offensive line was. Like, the Broncos' offensive line is going to be good. And the same with the Commanders, I think, will be decent.
I think Bo's a good player. I actually like him as a quarterback. Currently my Madden Ultimate Team quarterback. Pretty good card. But, I'm just the defenses are going to get an extra year of tape on him. They're going to figure out what he likes to do. There's going to be things that happen now that they've seen him longer where he'll have to adjust. So it depends how quickly he'll adjust. That'll really take how far they could go. If he could adjust on the fly and make those fixes, he'll be okay. If he's struggling a little bit, you'll see the slump.
A Super Bowl future that I like, that's kind of a little bit of a longer shot, similar to Denver. I don't know that they win the Super Bowl, but at plus 2,000, the LA Rams, that defense, Ryan, you hit it. That defense, that coach, that quarterback, and division is going to be tough, but if you could get through that division, we saw what the Rams were able to do in the playoffs last year. Had Saquon Barkley not popped off against them, they probably would have went to the Super Bowl. If there's one last-ditch effort at Matt Stafford trying to win one more, it'd be this year with Devontae Adams. I'm a believer in that. I think Cooper Kupp being removed from that only is going to increase the role of Puka Nacua, maybe have a little bit more of a balanced offense with Kyron Williams in that run game. I like the Rams plus 2,000 as my FanDuel Futures Day Super Bowl winner.
Am I basic for just saying Lions plus 1,100? That's my basic pick, but it's kind of like, you expect them to always not get over the hump. I'll pick them as my Cubs team to finally break through in 2016 this year and get it.
Here's the thing. I actually like more than the Lions winning the Super Bowl, and I have to look at the odds. I can't see them right now. I'll have to find it. But you can obviously bet teams to not make the playoffs, and if you're looking to make some money, the Detroit Lions not to make the playoffs. Here's the thing.
It's a boomer bust.
You are in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. If J.J. McCarthy is very good, then you have 3 legitimate teams with quarterbacks that can That's a tough 6-game stretch. 2 against the Bears, 2 against the Packers, 2 against the Vikings. You lose both of your coordinators. Last time we saw a team lose both of their coordinators after a phenomenal year was the Philadelphia Eagles. You lost Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen, both the head coach jobs. That year, the Eagles did make the playoffs, but if you remember, they started off hot, one of the hottest teams in the NFL. I think they were like 8-0, and just totally crumbled in the second half. They went into Tampa Bay for the, I believe it was a wild card game, and Baker beat them. Now, I'm not saying that Detroit won't make the playoffs, but if you're trying to make some money, I actually don't hate that bet because they're a hot, sexy team with Dan Campbell. They have all the pieces, but could there be a dramatic fall off without Ben Johnson?
Plus 140, by the way.
I'm in on the NFC.
It's only plus 140 not made the playoffs?
Being an overrated division.
The NFC
Very
North?
overrated. I think it's a lot of ifs.
It's a lot of question marks.
You had to say a lot of questions. Is Ben Johnson the guy that's going to make Caleb Williams?
Is J.J. McCarthy anything?
McCarthy good? Will Jordan Love be okay? Is he going to be okay with the injury, with everything going on in their receiver room? It's a lot of ifs, and the Lions have been a solid team that's got healthy again. They're bringing Montgomery back. They got all these people returning. You got J-Mo who's going to be healthy, playing the whole season. I think they're going to dominate. I think it's a lot of hype. It could be a gauntlet. It was crazy last year the way that it worked out with Minnesota, but for all that to happen again is very unlikely in my opinion.
To go 15-2, which I believe they went, and then to lose to the Rams, or excuse me, yeah. No, they lost to the Commanders at home at Ford Field. It just seems like the year before you were on the NFC Championship, you really should have went to the Super Bowl. You blew that lead to the 49ers.
They blew it last year, too.
And then it's like, is this a year they take even another step back? Did the Lions miss their window? I don't know. It's a topic for discussion.
All right, so I got the Rams, you got the Broncos, Rob's got Detroit. Jack's Super Bowl sleeper. FanDuel Futures Day.
I don't.
Or just Super Bowl pick, period.
I think this is your day to take the best odds possible on the really good teams. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Like plus 700 still, like you're getting that boost up anyways. Like I think this is a good day to capitalize on chalk if you're a chalk person. Like I am.
All right, one more quick one, and then you guys can give me another quick one. This division winner parlay I have, it's just three teams, but it's plus 351. The Baltimore Ravens to win the AFC North. The Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East. And those might be the two teams I'm the most confident in to take the divisions.
Me too.
And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the South.
You said Bills? Ooh.
Ravens, Bills, Buccaneers. That's plus 351 on FanDuel right now. I put a little nice 23 spot on it to win $103.91. I love that one.
The Ravens is honestly the scariest leg in that, honestly.
You think they're over Tampa? What if Michael Penix is what everybody thinks that he is?
I just think the Lamar injury is always something that can happen, and that'll vary. Like they could still make the playoffs, but be the second place team.
Right.
It's always so up in the air. Like the Steelers could be right at 10 if there's any slip up, or if the Bengals have a really good year. I think Tampa Bay is probably going to win, barring injuries again. There's stuff that could happen out there, but I think they're a little bit the Falcons have a lot more to prove than the other two teams that the Ravens are competing with.
Especially in this division, right? Just because, you mentioned, if Lamar gets injured, you're okay. Then Joe Burrow's a division winner in any other division other than the North. Aaron Rodgers was a top 10 quarterback last year. He's a division winner in probably maybe a half or a third of other NFL teams. Ravens are risky. I think the Tampa leg is probably your riskiest though.
And then for MVPs, I mean, I'd love the value. Joe Burrow plus 600. If the Bengals make the playoffs, then Joe Burrow is going to go absolutely nuts like he did last year.
That's a smart bet.
And then I'm the same way.
To Jack's point about betting chalk and boosting it.
That's what I'm using my boost on. It is probably Joe Burrow MVP. I got a 5-legger though. This is crazy. I was kind of just going through. I was looking at stuff I liked. First leg over 4.5 win Cleveland Brownies. Need us to get to 5. To get to 5. Second leg New England Patriots to miss the playoffs.
Like it.
Third leg Ashton Genty. 8 touchdowns, regular season rushing touchdowns.
Cash that.
Fourth leg, Ted McMillan over 750 receiving yards.
Cash that.
The fifth leg is where it could get a little spooky, but I believe in him with a new addition out there in Dallas, Dak Prescott, 4,000 passing yards.
Yeah, that's doable.
Garbage time too. They're gonna lose
That's
Dak
5
garbage time.
5 to win
garbage time more than anyone else in the
77.
world.
I like it. I like the leg. I like it. Good parlay. Got stuff to cheer for all year.
Guys, I have a 2-leg parlay, but I'm going to college football.
I'm the only one that's not. Go for it, Jack.
Okay, yeah, because an interesting bet in college football. Never really seen this before. What's that mean?
put it to your face when you're talking.
Oh, sorry. I don't know, dude. Like I'm going with the to go undefeated regular season parlay. An interesting option on FanDuel.
Undefeated.
I'm taking Notre Dame and Ohio State together. $5 wins you 133 plus 2,500.
Undefeated is insane.
It's insane, but Notre Dame, if you get through Miami on the road, who they're a favorite against in week 1, you get a bye week, and then you get a Texas A&M team week 3, who is the toughest game left on your schedule, a team that you dominated in College Station last year in the trenches before they lost Shamar Stewart and Nick Scourton. And then Ohio State, like it's always the years where like they get the first time quarterback in like CJ Stroud or Justin Fields, and people kind of doubt them because like, oh, they don't have the proven commodity at quarterback. But how many times does Ohio State have to retool instead of like rebuild before people have to just admit like they're gonna come out and ball out? Like if you win this Texas game week 1, which is a big if, you don't have Oregon on the schedule this year. Eventually, you're going to beat Michigan. You have to think right, and I'm never going to trust James Franklin in a big game, especially on the road.
Was anyone undefeated in the regular season last year?
Oregon.
I just feel like it's so rare now with how it's okay to mess up. There's no I don't feel like they're putting their whole heart and soul into every regular season game anymore.
As long as Notre Dame doesn't have Northern Illinois on the schedule, right, Jack?
They're not on the schedule.
I like those two. It's just the undefeated, but that's good odds though. 5 to win 130. Who else are you going to take though? It's too. I like it.
You know, I've had this debate with a lot of people. My Kent State Golden Flashes to win over 1.5 games on FanDuel right now. I don't know that that's a lie.
I just looked. No, because
8,000.
Nick, I was going to get here with you eventually. So they are minus odds to win 2 games, but 3 games you get them at like plus 125.
So here's the thing.
I'd bet them to go defeated again. What do I get on that?
Yeah,
can you do the reverse?
Because you open the season against Merrimack, and if you can't beat Merrimack, there's probably no more wins on
it. If you want to know the wretched state
John
of
Fant
Kent
is calling
State
that a
football,
must-win.
Like if you want to know how bad this is right now, the Browns are plus 35,000 to win the Super Bowl, right? Which we all think is incredibly unrealistic.
35
Kent State is plus 30,000 to win the MAC. There shouldn't be that much of a parity in the MAC.
What's the lowest I could bet on a parlay for Brown Super Bowl, Kent State MAC? Like if I threw like 1 penny on
I'm going to look right now. I'm going to look right now.
It's like a penny to win like
really
$2,000.
Well, Jack looks it up, guys. We got to take another break.
PJ
But again,
Tucker.
it's Tuesday, August 26th, Futures Day at FanDuel. Go lock in all your future bets, all your hunches, your dark horse winners, MVPs, all that good stuff. Today is the day to do it on FanDuel for Futures Day. We got to take a break. When we get back, we'll wrap this thing up. Dave Portnoy, not banned from going into the stadium. WNBA potentially headed towards a lockout. We'll talk about that when we wrap up right here on The Big Factor.
Hold on, before we do a read, Jack has one more. Jack has one more FanDuel
guys.
Futures Day that went in during the
Guys,
break.
better tail.
This is place. So we're not leaning you astray here. Today only, Kent State to win the MAC and the Cleveland Browns to win the Super Bowl. $5 will win you $450,000 in $5. That is plus $9,060,000 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today on Futures Day. If the Kent State Golden Flashes somehow win the MAC,
Someone just saw that
and
run
Joe
across their
Flacco
desk
wins
and
the
was like,
Super
what
Bowl
the fuck?
for the second time, Powerball, baby.
If that happens, the black SUVs are pulling up on you.
Yeah,
so
because someone saw this and there's no way. Like who's playing?
They know that they just made $5.
They're like
FanDuel stock just went up.
head over to
What if
Subway.
the line starts dropping on it?
That's a free footlong in 2006. All right, guys, I got to tell you all about our friends over at
Vogel.
Garage
Jared
Beer.
Vogel, no.
Garage Beer comes in just 2 flavors, classic light lager as well as that classic lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. It's just beer-flavored beer. Scan that QR code now or go give their website a visit, drinkgaragebeer.com, to find local retailers who sell garage beer near you. Again, that's drinkgaragebeer.com. All right, guys, big noon kickoff starts this weekend. Ohio State takes on Texas. Now, news came out yesterday that Dave Portnoy was banned from entering the Horseshoe, but it comes out that's not true. Athletic director of Ohio State, Ross Bjork, says, quote, Ohio State did not issue a ban on Dave Portnoy. Fox decided that Portnoy would not be on the main desk of Big Noon Kickoff, and those not on the desk do not normally appear on the field. These are Fox decisions, he emphasized. They dodged the soft allegations, because when I read this and I thought it was true, I thought this was the softest shit I've ever seen in my life.
This is a work. I put it out there when I saw that story from Front Office Sports hit. I was like, if this is real, was what I led my post with, this is the softest thing ever, because I knew in the back of my mind that there was no way that could have been real. And then the other shoe drops this morning. We find out that it was planned. He's not going to be at Ohio State. It also sounds like he's not going to be in other Big Ten stadiums this entire season. So the rest of the Big Ten telling Fox how they feel about that addition of Dave Portnoy. While I'm curious to see how this thing looks, it almost is making me not want to tune into Fox on Saturday, because this is why they put this story out there. They're trying to drum up interest in the Big Noon Kickoff. Everybody's going to be watching Lee Corso put on the Buckeye helmet for the final time on ESPN College Game Day.
Texas Longhorns.
I'm not going to tune in to this, especially now with the Portnoy not in the stadium thing. Where is he going to be? If he's not going to be in the stadium, where is he going to be at? Is he going to be in the studio?
I mean, it'd be like, I think it's like game day where they have like a little
they're
like
set up
on a
outside.
patch somewhere. But it's so stupid though, because like how in the first place did this even become a headline? Because clearly like Fox and Barstool didn't negotiate this X $1 million deal and not know that he couldn't go in stadiums. Like this has all been in fine print for months probably. It's just a stupid ploy.
I seriously think this is going to become a bit. I think this is something that Barstool's kind of this would be very on brand for them, trying to liven up Fox. I think it may become a bit where every Big Ten week he is trying to sneak into a stadium, and there's some sort of thing he's doing in a different one every week. And they're just going to keep
like in
surprising.
a tuba case or something.
Yeah, like
okay.
they pull him out of the suitcase, or then he's like skydiving and he parachutes down onto the field, and he's like, then he's the fake fan. He comes out of the crowd. He's got a disguise on. I think they're trying to drum up something. They got everyone thinking, this is our big acquisition. No one wants him at the stadiums. Michigan will be the only one where he could like walk in if they even want him there.
Why do dumb stuff to piss people off when people would have naturally at some point in time? Because a lot of people don't like Pat McAfee, for example, so that knocks you out watching game day. Like that's me. A lot of people only watch for Lee Corso, like when he's on at the end, I guess. Like people are gonna watch anyways, just because there's 2 channels, so you'll really only have 2 options. But like, why do you need to drum up interest when you're already gonna do so well?
They want it to become
seems so disingenuous.
They want to make it kind of a tradition. I think like you got to have something that's
like their Corso.
With, like they might want to start a tradition. So now it might be.
But hey, that tradition's done
with the most elaborate thing every week to get into the stadium. That's just a conspiracy theory. Personally, I think it's something they're trying to come up with, and then that could be like the new thing. So now Corso's done doing what he's doing. Now everyone every Saturday wants to tune into how is Dave Portnoy going to get into a Big Ten stadium.
You know, there's a little bit of that bears mentioning, because Ross Bjork put in his statement and confirmed that Fox themselves decided that Portnoy would not be on the main desk for Big Noon Kickoff. So this was their decision. And truly, that probably fits Portnoy's whole thing a little bit better. Like, think about, like, what's Portnoy known for? The pizza reviews. That's where he's out with the people, and he's out kind of causing a little bit of a stir. It makes me think of McAfee with the kick has kind of become his thing on game day. So it's going to turn into, where is Portnoy and what's he up to on Big Noon, especially because it was Fox's decision to not put him at the desk. It wasn't from the Big Ten.
They're drumming something up.
We'll talk about it when we get closer to the kickoff Saturday. Obviously on Friday's episode, we'll talk about it a bunch. But right now, who you got, Ohio State or Texas? I'm going Texas.
We're doing this today instead of Friday?
No, I'm just saying I have a hunch right now.
Give me the Bucks.
Bucks.
Well, I just put in a parlay that says they're going to win the game, so I'm also on the Bucks
I
train.
think, you know what I'm a little disappointed about on FanDuel Futures Day is I almost feel like, and again, it's the reason to get in and use these boosts and stuff. The line on Jeremiah Smith to win the Heisman, people are just hammering it. It is now all the way up to 11-1. People love Jeremiah Smith to win the Heisman.
I'm gonna have to eat my words for this probably at some point in the next 11 days when the University of Miami kicks the shit out of Notre Dame and Carson Beck goes for 500 passing yards. No, but how is Carson Beck fifth in Heisman odds?
I think people just like I think like bettors. Yeah, bettors like that he's been around. Bet. He's played a lot of college football. It's a bettor's bet. I don't know that people like Carson Beck. I just think that in the words of our old guy Ted Ginn Jr., it's a bettor's bet, you know.
All right, let's take our final break, and when we get back, WNBA possibly headed towards the lockout. We also got to tell you about the great Jog Affair of 2025. We'll do that when we get back right here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor, presented by FanDuel here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan Tyler, Nick Padone, Jack O'Rourke, Rob Watson. Before we wrap up here, we got to tell you guys, because we're getting very, very close to the 2025 Great Geauga County Fair.
Fellas, we're just about 48 hours away. So if you don't have your tickets yet, what are you doing? Get your tickets now, jaugafair.com. We're 48 hours away from all the fun Thursday evening. Folks, wow. The Demolition Derby is taking place. So that's what you sign up for. You can get your tickets for the fair, but also for the Demolition Derby now, jaugafair.com. It is going to be a jam-packed weekend of fun Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's Labor Day weekend here in Northeast Ohio. That means get on out to Burton, get on out to the great Geauga County Fair. It's been going on since 1823. You can get your tickets now, jaugafair.com. Fellas, I'm going to be out there on Thursday.
Wow.
Well, speaking of thousands. Speaking of dates, the WNBA has till October 1st to work out a new CBA. 31st. Or else October Halloween. 31st, Halloween. Till they can figure out a new CBA. If that doesn't happen, we could potentially see a lockout in the WNBA.
Trash for the sport. Shouldn't lock out.
Yeah, it's just odd timing, especially well, I guess in a sense it makes a lot of sense with timing that it's right before you're getting this big TV deal. I think Asia Wilson is hitting free agency. There's a couple of big names. It's going to be very interesting because I do think the next decade of the WNBA is going to be totally just transformed based off of what happens right here. There's a world where Asia Wilson, after this TV deal, goes out and gets some form of a bag, whether that's $6 million a year. So I don't know what it gets up to, but there's a world where I don't know, dude. If they start paying top level players because they won't play the sport, and people's they're in a very odd leverage spot where I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's going to be really interesting to track.
Could go either way. Could work out and get them paid like they want to. Could be something where people lose interest when the interest is at the highest it's ever been, and then the buzz could kind of die. So they got to walk that line with how they handled it.
To me, you've got to work this out, because if you lose people now, when you've got, and I get Clark hasn't played much this year because of the injury, but you've got Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and their thing going. You got Paige just stepping into the league. Juju Watkins, right around the corner. you can't fumble this now. You're so close. You're right there to actually being something and to having something substantial. I think they've got to find a way to work this out. And to me, even if that is paying the players what they want and what they're worth, and giving
someone's going to get a bag.
Yeah, you've got to you got to play ball.
Don't want to lock out though. Resolve it on time and just carry on with what you want to do though.
All right. Appreciate everybody tuning into Big Factor. We are out of time. Shout out Fairway Forward. Shout out Garage Beer. Shout out the 2025 Great Jogger County Fair. And of course, shout out our partners at FanDuel. Again, today is Futures Day at FanDuel. Go take advantage of it. Lock in your division winners, MVPs, all that good stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. Same people, same time. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, and we'll catch you Monday